So good afternoon, sir. You are welcome to Badagry. My name is Temitope Mobi. You're welcome, sir. And this is the Mobi Family Slave Release Museum. Here are the real chain shackles used on our forefathers during the period of slave trade. The chain here are over 500 years old. Because slave trade lasted here in Badagry for about 350 to 400 years. And Badagry happened to be a slave corridor during the period of slave trade. And there were two major slave coasts in Nigeria back then for transatlantic slave trade, Badagry and Calabar. And so any slaves captured from the Oyo Empire were brought down to Badagry, while slaves captured from the eastern part of Nigeria were taken to Calabar. Our forefathers in Badagry were middlemen between the whites and the black. They buy slaves from their fellow black, they resell to the white men. This business lasted for about 350 to 400 years. The trade was abolished by the help of the man buried here, Chief Sumbu Mobi. The father of the man buried here was a middleman between the white and the black. What he does then is to buy slaves from his fellow black and sell to the white men. Of course, this was what the people of Badagry were doing in those days, because Badagry back then has headquarters that we maintain up to date. And 6 out of these quarters were dealing with one country or the other. We have the British, the Dutch, the French, and the Portuguese as our major customer here in Badagry. So the father usually buys slaves from his fellow black and sells to the white men. Whenever the white people come around, the man offers them kola nuts. He tells them in Yoruba language, which the white men were always saying. And so he was nicknamed from there, Chief Mobi. The family now adopts Mobi as a family name. And Mobi is now a chieftain's title in Badagry today. The father was part of the trade. The father was as well part of those who signed the treaty of the abolition of slavery here in Badagry in the year 1852. Officially, slave trade was abolished in 1852. Physically, it was abolished in the year 1888 by the help of Chief Mobi, who doesn't like the trade, and so he had to wage war against the Portuguese slave merchants. Since the last vessel living in Badagry, here had a real chain around the neck of the slaves inside the vessel. This I'm holding is called the neck lock, or the neck of the slaves. Slaves are meant to walk with this around their neck for 18 hours every day. And while traveling, this will remain around their neck for 3 to 4 months before they get to their final destination. And you can imagine the weight of this on the neck of our forefathers working inside the farm for 18 hours every day. This is called the mouth flip, and this is for the mouth of the slaves. Slaves working inside the farm were usually not allowed to communicate to one another while working on the farm, because the white men are afraid. They believe that while slaves are working and they are communicating, they could plan on how to attack their masters. What they do then is to pierce the lips of the slaves with hot iron. They pierce the lower and upper lips. In the morning while going to the farm, they put this on the mouth. They padlock their mouth like this for them not to talk or eat while working on the plantation. Why this is called the light chain for the babies. For the children of the slave not to be playing about the farm so as not to step on where their parents have planted, they gather the children together, chain their wrists with each side of the chain. They now make them sit under a tree far away from where their parents are working. So they call this the light chain for the babies. Why this is a torture weapon, and this is for stubborn slaves who refuse to work inside the farm. Slave disobeys master, they force this into their hand down to the wrist. This most time doesn't go in easily, so they will need to break the bone. Force this to the wrist. After forcing this to the wrist of the slaves, they made them climb a platform and screw this up to a tall tree. The slaves will now be hung on the tree, dangling from morning to night. In the course of doing that, most of them died. The white man doesn't care, because our forefathers were used in exchange of items. This is called the branding iron, and this back then was used in writing name of slaves. Slaves don't bear name back then; they bear the name of their masters. And in order for the master to be able to identify his slaves, they will need to write his name on the body of all of his slaves. So they will need to put this in fire when this is red hot. They now use this to write the name of the owner of the slaves on the body of the slaves. The second function of this is to pierce the lips of the slaves, so as to be able to padlock their mouth. While the last function of this is to pierce the foot of stubborn slaves who try to run away being captured. When this is red hot, they hit this into the foot to pierce the leg or break the bone inside the leg. This is called the ankle lock, and this is for the leg of two slaves. Two slaves are meant to walk with this around their ankle at the same time. They padlock this on their leg, and they'll have to walk with this around their ankle at the same time. And you can imagine this on the leg of two human beings walking at a time. This was the money we recognized back then in Africa, cowries. But this was only recognized as means of money, as means of exchange by we black. The white people doesn't see this as money, and that led to the introduction of trade by barter. So they bring in items like gunpowder, dry gin, cotton, iron, mirror, tobacco. For example, this cannon gun here was exchanged for 40 human beings. Why do we need cannon gun back then? They brought this to us so we could wage war against ourselves, capture slaves, sell back to them. I call that divide and conquer. The whites are still doing this in Africa up to date. They create problem among the Africans. While we are busy fighting ourselves, they take away our natural resources. And behind you there is a slave drinking water bowl. 40 to 50 slaves are made to drink water from this bowl at a time. And the slave drink water from this bowl, with their hand being tied to the back. Now, slaves have access to food and water once in a day. And there's a particular time they drink water during the day. Once they miss water for that period, they will need to wait till the next day before they have access to water. Because they know they have access to food and water once in a day, they struggle to drink water from this pot. In the course of struggling to drink, they get caught by the head of the pot. The blood drips into the water. They have no choice. They drink the blood water like that because they have access to food and water once in a day. And finally, this is the well at the point of no return. The spirit attenuation well. The slaves were forced to drink from this well. They were forced to make this recitation. After drinking and making the recitation, they become less aggressive. They lose their memory. This well was the reason why Nigeria was the largest supplier of slaves during the period of slavery. Because of this well, Nigeria supplied about 24% of slaves taken out of Africa, and that's the highest. 24 from Nigeria, 24 from Angola, 16 from Ghana, 13% from Senegambia. About 38.5% of slaves taken out of Africa were actually taken down to Brazil. And that's the reason why today in Brazil, Yoruba is our second official language. No wonder why Brazil is the next country, the largest number of black after Nigeria. So all the gods of Yoruba land are still being practiced in Brazil up to date. You are welcome to Badagry. Temitope Mobi is my name. I don't know if you have one or two questions. Yes, sir. Yes. People go there now and return. Then they call it point of no return because as soon as slaves are taken down there, they are sent back to Africa. But if you go now, you will definitely return. Now, another interesting part of that place is the point of no return is the only slave route that is still remain as it was. Every other slave route in the world has been tampered with. But the point of no return is still as virgin as it was during the period of slavery. You are welcome to Badagry. Exploring new cultures, come what may. With Allicom travels, your worries take flight. We'll guide your adventure and make everything right. We are the best at Allicom travels, and we conquer in every fear. Looking for comfort, a place to unwind. Hotel booking made easy, peace of mind you will find. Sailing the ocean, a luxurious escape. Our cruise packages are perfectly shaped. At Allicom Travel, we are the best. At Allicom Travels, for visa assistance and flight booking, and conquering every fear. From car hire so smooth to seamless transfer. So
this is the last point. And what normally made them call this place point of no return? What is two poles, something of these two pillars. Okay? That is what made them call the place point of no return. Apart from the building. So along the way, I told you they work on a single file. And when they got there, no any other way they could go through than through these two poles. So crossing these two poles, that means they cross the point of no return. At the back of the pole, they need to march them down to the seashore, where they reassemble them at the first place. Now the big ship needs to be anchored on the sea across the waves. Then another small boat is here looking for them. So the small boat is taking them into the big one. So when they pack them finish, after packing them finish, then the big one will take us to where it's going to. Now this thing that you see here is not yet there. For this one was given by former government. Seeing those pictures of the people that during the slave era, people that play role, you see the picture inside this tunnel. Then we come out through here. But unfortunately, they didn't through with the project.
Okay.
So somebody was here last 3 months, and he said they will soon continue the project. So we are still expecting.
So it was when it's not as if they see. I thought it was when the exercise.
No, this one is not. Inside slide. Okay. No. You know,
just in nature now beside
the side of this building, they don't use the good material. So when breeze start blowing,
beside the Atlantic
those
Ocean.
things, you can see what they use now. And just like it don't look. They just use cement to cover the side. They've collected cement. Yes. So through the ocean here, you can go to any part of the world. Wow. Depend where the merchant is coming from or coming from.
The point of no return.
And we are going to return by God's grace. So most of them take through this ocean down to Portugal, Brazil, America, France.
Pack your dreams, let's take a flight. Allicom will set it right. Business trips, so leisure fun. We got options, just pick one. Fly away with us today. We may travel bright and gay. Tickets, visas, all in store. Book with us, you'll want more. Hotels